Hi everybody, this is the Fabarm Autumn Elite. The Autumn came out a couple of years ago, was extremely well received. It's 20 gauge only, 28-inch barrels. It is built to be a lifetime gun. You've got 4 big, massive, beefy locking lugs. So this is the type of side-by-side that you're just not going to shoot loose. In a hunting lifetime, I don't believe. So, tri-bore barrels, which reduces velocity loss that you would get with overboard barrels. Gun companies forever, they lie about velocities like crazy coming out of barrels. It's just really, it's obnoxious. Benelli's probably the worst offender. You know, when you have just an excessively large bore and nothing else, you're going to get lower velocities. Simple as that. You burn powder in a smaller bore, same amount of powder, you get higher pressure, that means higher velocity. So the so-called overboard barrels, as a generality, you get velocity loss. And I'm not saying it's a huge amount, maybe 50 feet per second, but anybody with a chronograph can verify it. What's different about the Fabarm is the very large chokes that add the Venturi effect. It goes to an overboard section and you have 2 large areas that constrict the charge, so you get the Venturi effect, and that means essentially no velocity loss with a Fabarm tri-bore barrel. And of course, you can use steel shot up to including full choke, which is becoming mandated in more and more places. Probably not going to change. So, the gun, the Autumn Elite, is the same action, same gun as the Autumn, essentially. The wood's beautiful. It's obviously upgraded wood. Hope you can see from the pictures, but it's just beautifully figured on both sides. A lot of guns will get one side that has a suspicion of figure, but the other side is crepe wood. This is beautifully done. A lot of figure, a lot of mineral streaks in the forearm. So the wood is a big deal on this gun. And they've also added some engraving, very tasteful engraving, game scene engraving, with some gold inlays, as you can see, on the sides and on the bottom. So it really is a beautiful gun. And some scroll work on the trigger guard. So it's definitely a great looking gun. I'd call this a high-end side-by-side, really. The choice is yours as far as how they shoot. They shoot the same, whether you go with the standard Autumn or the Elite. The Elite is going to cost you a few more pesos, and it's readily apparent where it goes. It's in the wood, and it's in the engraving and gold inlays. You can get the Autumn with a pistol grip, which I personally prefer, but this is all personal preference. A lot of people like double triggers. Those are available. I like a single trigger. A lot of people like straight or English stocks. Not me. I shoot a pistol grip stock a lot better, but not everybody looks at it the way I do. So you have your choice. If you want a slightly lighter gun, by removing all this wood and going with an English stock, that does lighten up the gun, as you would imagine. So this is right out of the box. Let me see if it breaks a few clay pigeons. Yep, goes where you point it. Ejection is good. The safety does not automatically reset, which is a good thing as far as I'm concerned, but you have your choice. If you want a resetting safety, it's available. This does not. I find them obnoxious, but that's up to you. So, let me see if I've got my scale and give you some accurate weights on this guy. So, on the scale, it is 6 pounds, 9.8 ounces. So, an ounce is some change over 6.5 pounds. You'll get under 6.5 pounds with a straight stock. So, as far as pheasants and things like that, I have no use for a gun that's over 7 pounds. And if you've got a 20 gauge that's over 7 pounds, it doesn't make any sense. But it's a beefy action, and the balance is very nice as well. Like I said, it carries real well, shoulders real well. There's only one complaint I have about the Autumn, which is something that's readily rectified. I'm not a big fan of these cut checkered wood butt plates. They look cool, they look great, and I understand it's nicely grained as well, but give me a recoil pad. So if you ask Fabarm, or your Fabarm dealer, maybe your Fabarm dealer will do it. Cold Gunsmithing can certainly add a pad for you. But you can get an Old English pad, same thickness as a checkered butt plate. And just go with a Packmeyer Old English pad, and it'll be that much more comfortable shooting. If you want a more generous pad, well, you can always cut the stock. But what a lot of people do that want some recoil reduction is just go with an Old English pad that doesn't change the length of pull. Slap that on, and if you want to return to factory spec, just screw on your checkered wood butt plate. So, some people like them. I don't. I don't have any reason for it. But I mean, shooting it with target loads, with 7/8 ounce loads, there's no appreciable recoil with this gun. And of course, that's the curse of super light guns. If you like that 5.5 pound gun, maybe, but with heavier hunting loads, it'll slow you down in that second shot. Because regardless of what you're shooting, you do have to recover from recoil and regain your swing. And the more recoil, the more time it takes to recover from it. So, like a lot of things, that's just personal preference. In general, I like a 6 1/4 to 6.5 pound gun. This would qualify as the 6.5 pound arena. So there isn't that much difference. I mean, it's not worth obsessing over 4 ounces. But 6 1/4 to 6.5 is about right. If you go an ounce lighter or an ounce heavier, it's not wake the president material at all. Of course, what's most important, as everybody will say, is gun fit. And we don't wear the same shirts, we don't wear the same anything. So of course, gun fit, what fits you, is by far the most important thing. What I like about Fabarm guns in general is that the chokes function as marked, which is increasingly rare. If you'd like aftermarket chokes or extended chokes, Trulock makes them. They're in stock, so you can get high quality aftermarket chokes that have been tested by Trulock and fit properly. And excellent triggers. There's enough purchase here on this safety so it's not difficult to get off. I'm picky when it comes to tang safeties, because a lot of them, particularly when you've got gloves on or wet gloves, frozen hands, they can save a lot of roosters' lives unintended. But this one's nice and smooth. I don't think most people will have any problem with that. Like I said, I'm pickier than most. So it is. If you want all these guns, as far as hunting applications, they're lifetime guns. Certainly in my case, an old guy like me, there's more than lifetime guns. Somebody is going to inherit them. But it's a beautifully done gun. Like I said, the prices have gone up, but nobody really knows where this stuff is going to land. You know, with the tariff consternation and debate. But I don't think it matters, because I don't know anybody that's willing to spend $1,000 on a shotgun or a rifle and can't spend $1,100, or somebody that's going to spend, let's say, $6,000 on a shotgun, and it's now $6,200. That's not going to change the world. The more you shoot, you're going to spend more money on hunting licenses and ammunition and clay pigeons and practicing and travel and food and hotels. So really the cost of the gun, if it's a gun that you want, it's trivial by comparison. You look at the money that we spend on all kinds of things that don't last very long, whether it's cell phones or even automobiles. You really can't compare the longevity of an automobile to the longevity of a high quality shotgun. But yet, average price for a new vehicle, nothing special, you know, mostly little four-cylinder SUVs is pushing $50,000. I think the average transaction cost is $49,000. And here in Illinois, when you add tax, it's like, yeah, you're way over $50,000 to buy much of a substantial little SUV, much less a higher horsepower truck, etc., etc. So that's the way I look at firearms anyway. If it's a gun that fits, that speaks to me, that I really, really like, the price of the gun is not that big of a deal, within reason. I'm not the type of individual that's going to drop $10,000 on a shotgun, or any firearm for that matter. Just not going to happen. It just doesn't take that to build a quality gun. There's a certain amount of prestige, or some might even say snob factor, when you spend a lot of money on guns, and it doesn't make any sense to me. Now, if you consider yourself a full-time professional shooter and you're pounding tens of thousands of rounds downrange every year, well, you can imagine what the ammo and travel cost is for that. So then it makes sense to spend that kind of dollars for a competition gun. But you certainly don't need to spend anywhere near that to look good and feel good and have a great time on the dove field, chasing pheasants, quail hunting, or whatever. So that's all up to you. Of the two, if I was to buy a side-by-side tomorrow, it would be an Autumn. Now, whether I would go for the Elite or go with the standard Autumn, which is still a tremendously beautiful gun with case colors, I don't know. I'm undecided. A lot of people have stronger opinions about that than I do. Certainly, the Elite is a higher end gun. You've got a $2,000 stick of walnut here for starters anyway, plus the engraving. But I have more mid-range taste, so I would look real hard at the standard Autumn. That's just me, but it's the same four-lug action. Same durability, same quality, same essentially everything. So I would probably lean towards the Autumn, because the Autumns I've seen do have very nice stock sets as well. And I like the case coloring. So it's a quick look at the Autumn Elite, but it's new this year, and a lot of people have asked about them. You know, when a new mid-range, I call these mid-range shotguns, or mid-range plus. That's about the area that I circulate in. When a new mid-range plus shotgun comes out, a lot of people are interested. So there have been a lot of emails and some phone calls about this. And decide for yourself. You're going to enjoy the gun either way if you want a side-by-side. And again, as far as straight stock, double triggers or not, double triggers go with the straight stock, of course. So it's easier to move your hand slightly. But and you save a couple ounces. So that's all up to you, but the good news is it's your choice. Double trigger, single trigger, pistol grip like I prefer, or straight stock. It's pick your own poison. So it's a quick look at the Fabarm Autumn Elite. But it is a beautiful gun. I mean, it really is. See it here in the sun. I'm looking at it right now. It's just stunning. Just very, very nicely done. Engraving, a little extra polish on the bluing. I'd say oil finish stock. I mean, the wood looks alive. It's just glowing. So that's it. Have fun out there.